Did you watch the Vince McMahon documentary by
Oh,
chance?
No, not yet.
It's so good. It's so good.
You gotta watch
It's
it.
so f***ing good. It's
Yeah,
insane.
talk about boners.
Oh my god.
God.
These
That
guys.
guy was jacked too, by the way.
Oh.
And he was so funny.
Dude, the guy's the man.
Oh
He's
my
the man.
God.
He's fucking crazy though.
There was insane. There was a part in the ring I never saw before until this where he's like has his cheeks out and some chick is shoving some guy's face in his cheeks and he's just wiggling his cheeks back and forth. I'm like, oh my.
They did some wild stuff.
He's a psycho.
Yeah,
They're crazy.
I think there was a storyline where he like made out with his daughter or something like
Yeah,
that.
no.
Yeah,
There's a storyline where
crazy.
his daughter was pregnant and he tried to convince the people that it could have been his kid.
It was his kid. What?
And his daughter ended up marrying Triple H.
Yes.
What?
And there's
You gotta watch it.
One storyline where he drugged up his wife and put her in a wheelchair, and then he's having an affair with Trish Stratus, and or making out with Trish in front of his wife as she's like,
Dude,
she's all drugged up. Like
This guy's insane.
I watched wrestling in the 80s.
Yeah.
and then I dipped out. So I really did love it when it was like Hulk Hogan.
Hulk
or whatever.
and
But I was young.
and the giant, right?
Dude,
And Andre.
Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, but I was young. I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then I got to be like, well, this is dumb. But watching the documentary, it's such a I love the allure of what they're doing. The way that they get millions of people.
They're smart. They're
to buy into the stories and also to see what makes people crazy. Like they had this thing where like they introduced, here's an example. They introduced The Rock. The Rock came from a long line of great wrestlers.
Yeah, his father. Yeah,
So
his
and he's a great prospect.
Yeah.
And so they introduced The Rock, and they don't call him The Rock yet. They call him something else.
Right.
And they're betting on this kid to save the WWE because it goes like this. It goes up and down in waves, and there's a lot of competition. And they introduced The Rock, and the fans hate him.
Yeah.
What?
They hate him.
At first, they hated him
Because they're shoving The Rock down everyone's throats,
Yeah.
and the fan. He's a good guy. So they hate him. They hate him.
They love Stone Cold.
So, okay. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So what Vince does is Vince just makes him a bad guy. And so now The Rock's a bad guy, and everyone's going crazy. And all Vince is doing is he's just trying to elicit an emotion.
Yeah.
It's so simple and it's so brilliant. It's like, okay, fine. And he has an answer for everything. He's like, okay, you don't like The Rock this way? Fine. Well, you can have him this way. And then that's works.
Genius,
and that takes off. And The Rock becomes this huge villain, such a big villain that eventually they turn him back good. And he becomes,
right, because everybody already loves. They love to hate him, but then they're gonna love him after that.
Like it's fascinating, just that mentality.
It's a mentality. Well, like you just said. So you said something that just struck a chord with me. They elicit an emotion.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
That's a big deal. So if you take that phrase, you set it off to the side for a second. When somebody elicits an emotion, right? There are several things that can happen, right? That can trigger them to love, that can trigger them to hate, that can trigger them to spend money, that can trigger them to, do anything. Eliciting an emotion, right, is very powerful. Like that's a powerful thing that somebody can do, right? Which is kind of scary, right? But it also controls, right, the masses and can help or hurt people. So it has to be, carefully, methodically, put out there.
Yeah.
So, but when they care about viewership, they care about sponsors, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And today, everybody loves The Rock.